Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swamiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharane Vishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshtarane Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavranda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. We had studied how the Lord started convincing the kumaras to be more kind about the curse on Jaya and Vijaya. They had their own feelings about the Lord's request. So the kumaras are very still disturbed from the incident and they are angry. And Sanatana is saying, "My Lord, it is not possible that you need anyone else's favor. All types of mystics who have given up material desires can only attain transcendence by your grace. The goddess of fortune is worshipped by the gods, Brahmins, and Vaishnavas. She, however, is eager to stay at your lotus feet, where the king of bees hovers on breaths of fresh tulsi leaves offered to you by some blessed devotee." Sanaka said, "My lord, we know you are not attached to Lakshmi because of her opulence. Actually, she's attracted by your opulence, but you are attracted only by pure devotion. You do not depend upon anyone else for anything. You're always self-sufficient. Okay, let's pause there. So you're self-sufficient. Krishna is Atma Rama. He's not a codependent. In other words, he doesn't depend on others for anything. Mhm. He doesn't need our offerings. Mhm. He doesn't need our austerities. However, there's only one thing he needs: our love. Because Krishna is so kind, he gives us such a free will. And from that free will, all he wants is that love. Okay, continuing. Simply to teach others to offer respect, do you say that your opulence is due to the Brahmins and Vaishnavas' benedictions? Neither do you need purifying by the Brahmins' food dust. Sanandana added, Lord, you are known as Sri Yuga because you appear as an incarnation in 3 yugas. Satya, Treta, and Dwapara. You also appear in Kali Yuga, but in that age you come as a devotee. Personifying all religious principles, you descend to drive away the influence of passion and ignorance. These two lower modes induce people to engage in illicit sex, intoxication, and meat eating. You restore the principles of cleanliness, austerity, and mercy, thereby protecting the universe. We are certainly influenced by passion and ignorance. Otherwise, how is it we became angry even in Vaikuntha? Please remove any last trace of these lower modes from our hearts. Sanat said, I can understand why you have spoken so gently and kindly to us, despite our mistake. Brahmins and Vaishnavas are crucial in human society because they give spiritual direction. When they are mistreated, society becomes misdirected and is destroyed. Since everyone follows your authority, you have praised us to show the importance of properly respecting Brahmins and Vaishnavas. Sanatana spoke again. As the proprietor and maintainer of the universe and an ocean of goodness, you do not like to see human society misled. To protect the populace and destroy evil elements, you regularly appear and exhibit your mighty potency. As a part of your transcendental pastimes, you display humility, but this never compromises your supremacy. The Kumaras bowed their heads in contrition. How had they become so foolish as to curse Narayana's beloved servants? Telepathically, they conferred. Sanat said, one who has implicit faith in the Lord should never be considered at fault. What to speak of those engaged in Narayana's loving service like Jaya and Vijaya? Sanat Kumara added, we have made a great mistake. Sanandana said, how can we atone? Sanatana said, we must admit to Lord's will. We must submit to the Lord's will. If he likes, he can punish us to free us for our offense. What else can we do? The brothers bowed before Narayana, and Sanat said, Lord, we feel that Jaya and Vijaya did not deserve to be cursed. We do not know what should be done now. Kindly adjust the situation as you feel fit. We will wholeheartedly accept any decision you make, whether you decide to honor or punish Jaya and Vijaya or ourselves. Let's pause there. This is an attitude of a devotee, um, especially after starting, they're praying to the Lord by glorifying Him. When we glorify the Lord, all our impurities go away. Our character defect gets washed away. Then we get restored to sanity. So that's why the best prayer is to ask for the Lord's will to prevail. Because if the Lord's will prevails, we're safe in every way. Pleased with their submission, Narayana glanced at them affectionately. O Brahmins, know that the punishment you meted out was ordained by me. It was my will that they take birth as demons. Noting Jaya and Vijaya's alarm, Narayana addressed them kindly. Normally, a curse like this would last for 7 births. If you choose to remain my devotees in the material world, you will remain there for that length of time. However, if you take my advice and become my enemies, I will reduce the duration to only 3 births. Desiring to return to their service as soon as possible, the guards called out in unison, Lord, we will become your enemies. Narayana smiled. You will remain firmly united with me in mental concentration intensified by anger, and you will return to my presence shortly. The Kumaras were aghast. Since Narayana is affectionate towards his devotees, why had he condemned Jaya and Vijaya to become demons? Understanding their minds, the Lord said, you may reflect within yourself to understand the reason. Gradually, looks of comprehension dawned on the Kumaras' faces. Narayana was warning all his devotees to be careful of committing offenses by showing how even his most intimate servants could fall victim to such transgressions. The Kumaras peered over at Jaya and Vijaya. The 2 guards appeared thoughtful. They had once desired to become temporarily inimical to Narayana so that they could give him a good fight. They knew the Lord enjoyed fighting from time to time. The demons in the material world were too weak to be any match for him, and the Vaikuntha devotees would never consider opposing their beloved Lord. Jaya and Vijaya had felt that Narayana's fighting spirit was being frustrated. Plainly, the Lord was using this opportunity to fulfill that desire. Visibly relieved that they had not offended Narayana, the Kumaras walked around him with folded palms and with his permission departed. Traveling through the spiritual sky, they loudly glorified the Lord's devotees. Narayana turned to Jaya and Vijaya. Go to the material world. Oh, glories to you. We'll pause there. So this is a important transition where the Lord's will has actually prevailed, but it can be difficult to understand. The Kumaras might feel responsible, as sometimes we feel. We may feel responsible for other people in our lives and how they are feeling or what's happening with them. We feel responsible, but at the end, actually, Krishna is in control, not really us. So Krishna, he achieves many purposes with one action. So with this action, he's achieving the purpose of delivering the Kumaras who are impersonalists into personalists, and preparing Jaya and Vijaya for another pastime so that he can have a good fight. Because which of the demons can actually be qualified to fight with the Lord, right? Who can be so powerful? Only devotees of the Lord are really powerful. So we think that only external strength is power, but actually devotional qualities is the real strength. There's nothing more strong than forgiveness and kindness. You say, you're killing me with your kindness. So that's the Lord achieving many goals through one action. And he's showing that he is in charge. And you know what is very interesting that I find in this whole pastime? The way that Krishna is so humble and so clever. He didn't just tell the Kumaras what he's telling immediately right now to Jaya and Vijaya. Either you have 3 lifetimes as an enemy or 7 lifetimes as a devotee. He didn't start off with that when he first spoke to the Kumaras. He actually told the Kumaras, "Oh, please be kind. Please change this. Make the person." He was really testing the kindness of Kumaras as well. And at the same time, he showed that who is in control, who is in charge. Don't think that it's because of you. So kartaham iti manyate, Bhagavad Gita basics. We think we are the controllers, but Krishna is the actual controller. Actually, we can pause there for today. Any questions? Any comments? Okay, I see that both of you are here. I don't know when you joined. I just kept reading. But if you have any comments, please.
I'm also appreciating how sweet is Krishna, how Narayana is speaking on behalf of his doorkeepers. How concerned he is. And then in one sense, it's his will because of which they actually, got cursed. And then the other, what do you say, the other side of it is he's also it's like a Leela, I feel so many things that, as you said, many things getting achieved by just one pastime, in just one pastime, right? Beautiful.
Yeah, and it's really sweet, right? This interaction, this relationship. And imagine the Kumaras, they look at Narayana like, what? Wait a minute. All this time we were thinking that the Kumaras cursed us. Now you're saying it was your will? Can you imagine the shock? Can you imagine the shock in their face when they look at Narayana and say, wait a minute, you want us gone? What's going on? But then, see, the minute they realize it's Krishna's will, they're shocked. But the minute they realize that it's Krishna's will, they're relieved.
Yeah, thank God. Yeah.
Because
it is his Ichha Shakti which just makes all his desires get fulfilled. He desires to have a battle. Who else other than his own devotees can be the proper opponents? So, but in one sense, it's it's happening according to his will, and the other way is it's also teaching us this great lesson of offending God devotees. That's also there, right?
Yeah.
It's teaching us this great lesson.
Yeah.
And then we were just reading from the Bhagavatam yesterday. because I don't have this book, right? And then we were seeing how he's saying that it's like my devotees are like my arms itself. If something, it's what do you say, some hurt is there, I don't mind cutting my own arms. So if the brahmanas are offended, I don't mind cutting my own arms, even though these gatekeeper, he's considering, Narayana is considering these gatekeepers are like his own arms, and he doesn't mind cutting them. That means that punishment also he's able to, he wants to accept it, because for him the brahmanas are like, so important. But it also says that, I was just sharing that these the four kumaras, right? They don't get the highest bhakti like the Vraj Prem, like that, that Golok entrance, they don't get. They get from that impersonal thing to the personal, they'll become personalist by smelling the tulsi leaves from the lotus feet of Narayan's feet. That's
Mm.
it. They don't get more than that, because they actually curse a devotee, these two devotees. Because of that, they don't get it.
Oh
So
my God,
that's
that's a
also a
very
lesson for
beautiful
us.
point.
Yeah. I also was like so shocked when I first heard it from somebody. I was like, wow,
Oh,
really? Like, our own, what do you say, progress gets checked if we are checking others, right? Like, wow. Yeah.
wow. That is a very powerful point. That our actual advancement is in non-enviousness and not, like you said, not to check the progress of others. That's the greatest growth. Oh my God. And how much it can hamper if we're not in that level. That's also scary. So I think Radhanath Swami in one of the classes, I remember he was saying the power, like I was saying, the power of kindness is like you killing me with your kindness. that story, it also includes that we're so kind to forgive, right? And there's nothing like that, like power of forgiveness. And also I remember that Krishna's Satya Sankalpa, right? He always, whatever he wishes, he knows how to make it happen. That
Hmm.
the Shakti, the Satya Sankalpa Shakti of Krishna. I was listening to Gaurang Darshan Prabhu yesterday, and he was speaking about Damodar Leela, and in that he was speaking about the Satya Sankalpa Shakti. And I was
Yeah.
remembering that there is a Purandara Dasa song which goes Satya 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 Ramana Satya Sankalpane Satya Nitya To Tande Purandara Vitalane. So Krishna's will, we may, in a human being, it may appear like a ego, right? False ego. Oh, yeah, he wants it his way. But in Krishna's case, Satya Sankalpa is like the best benefit for everybody involved. I mean,
Hmm.
even for the Jaya and Vijaya, what an amazing opportunity to give the Lord the good fight that He's hoping for, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
It's not actually a curse; it's actually a benediction. But of course, they're not going to remember, and that's the fun that the Lord is going to enjoy because they don't remember
Hmm.
that they were devotees. And the way the Lord blesses them and says, "Don't worry, you will be connected to me intensely through anger and other emotions, which are, in one sense, not favorable, but they're not going to get touched by it, right? They're not going to get touched by the modes, their devotion to the Lord, their attachment to the Lord, their connection to the Lord is only, if anything, it's only going to get intensified. And
Hmm.
I remember Mahatma Prabhu, he often says about the analogy. I mean, one of the things he quotes is also when, the orange juice, like whatever you're made of, when life actually tries to squeeze you, that will come out. So he says
Yeah.
when you squeeze a lemon, if you squeeze a orange juice will come out, right? So
Yeah.
if you squeeze Jaya and Vijaya, their intense attachment to the Lord is what comes out. No, like we're gonna keep thinking about Krishna more intensely. So when we are squeezed, when in difficulty, what comes out of us? That's the question to ask ourselves. And oh, I forgot this part. Satya Sankalpa, Krishna has a Satya Sankalpa Shakti to make happen what he desires. He's very strong. Okay, it's very strong in any circumstance, or any pastimes, right? But the speciality of the Damodar Leela pastime and the greatness of Mother Yashoda is such that actually Satya Sankalpa Shakti is nothing in front of
Yeah,
Krishna's Karuna Shakti, right? That's the point
correct.
you make
True.
there. Because
Bhaktavatsal quality.
Bhaktavatsala Krishna is, and when he sees Mother Yashoda's efforts and everything, he melts. And when he melts, oh, Satya Sankalpa is gone out of the window. Karuna Shakti becomes prominent. And like that, it's happening here also, as we can see. He immediately starts to think, okay, this curse and da 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 da. And then Krishna is like, okay, you can, it's going to be 3 lifetimes, and the intense devotion is going to be intensified in the form of anger. Okay, I think this is a good deal, right? Like Krishna is like being kind. He's being kind to the Kumaras because the Kumaras are feeling guilty. So Krishna is pacifying them. And then he's not able to see the Kumaras going on ranting about their guilt and, oh, we shouldn't have done it. And so Krishna's Karuna Shakti takes over. Same with the Jaya and Vijaya, right? Immediately he becomes merciful. It's so sweet.
Yeah, he desires not to be bound. But then
Mm,
even that desire gets become very submissive to the love of Mother Yashoda. That's why it's like Damodar is so beautiful. Yeah, such so
thank
nice.
you. Yeah, exactly. I didn't say what he was using Satya Sankalpa for. That's the point. If he doesn't want to be bound, nobody can bind him. That's Krishna. So if Krishna didn't want the Kumaras to curse, it wouldn't happen. And if Krishna wanted that the Kumaras retract their curse or end it, finish it, he could, right? But then when he starts to think about all other possibilities, Krishna is like, oh, actually, it's a good deal. He's such an individualist. I think he's trying to make the best deal of the bad bargain.
True,
And
true, true.
actually, it's so important to have that faith, right, in our lives, that when things are not going our way, things are going unexpectedly, it's so important to have faith. And this pastime can be one of those um, reminders that whether we are in the position of the Kumaras, meaning we may have done something, that's the
Mhm.
will of the Lord, like we're saying, that's where they can reach till. They can't reach beyond. Okay, that's the Lord's will. And then the Jaya and Vijaya also, oh, I want to perform devotional service favorably. But sometimes we may be in difficult circumstances and we are not able to perform devotional service the perfect way we want, right? Sometimes, like I'm going to stop the live here and share something personal about my japa and how that takes place. So thank you for those watching online.